Hey there, guys. So today we have another review. It's actually a different review, not exactly battle beers. Again, more with experimenting with beers. And I was sitting around thinking, and I had a few extra Founders Breakfast Stouts. You can go back to my battle beers with Terrapin Wake and Bake, and I actually rated this a decent amount lower than the Wake and Bake. So I was like, oh yeah, what can I do with this breakfast stout? Let's do something a bit more exciting. So I was like, it's bitter, it's a bit thin on the mouthfeel. What if I just threw it with some Bourbon County, which is a big luscious beer, tons of complexity, super sweet, and I think those flavors would really match. It's an experiment again, and I really thought that would be really interesting. So again, you're gonna inject some coffee and chocolate into this beer. You're gonna inject mouthfeel and complexity into this beer. That just sounds fantastic. So yeah, this is just the regular Bourbon County first. I haven't reviewed the 13, so I thought I'd do this first before I did the mixing. Obviously, this beer is just Bourbon County, super pitch black, barely any head, and the aroma. It's that classic Bourbon County aroma. It's super forward with the bourbon, tons of wood, sweet, that sweet stickiness that you get from a shot of bourbon that sticks on your lips. But then it has this chocolate note behind it, some roasted malt, roasted coffee. Again, tons of oak, tons of this vanilla sweetness, almost like opening vanilla extract and smelling that. So yeah, let's get the flavor. Mm. Again, this beer it reminds me of 12, maybe even a bit more smooth and chocolatier than 12. Great batch. Again, you're getting the bourbon stickiness in the front. I'm getting vanilla, tinges of coconut actually. Wow, very nice. Tinges of coconut. Again, the chocolatey sweetness, roasted malt, a light black coffee kind of note. That coffee kind of bitters a bit, which is very coffee note kind of bitters a bit. Again, super luscious, super big, sticky beer. Mm. Widely accessible. They've expanded their batches hugely. Busan is really hitting it out of the park with this beer. So yeah, let's get to what we're planning to do and start mixing these beers. So I already have a good amount of Bourbon County in here, and so probably if I just mix in equal parts of Bourbon County, all right, that should be around there. I think that's about equal because it's fluted towards the bottom. And we could be scientific and get exactly correct, but yeah, that might maybe a bit more. So all right. So yeah, let's dig into this beer. So yeah, let's mix it around. Let's get the aroma on this. Oh wow, that's so different. Jesus, ooh, you definitely smell the coffee. You definitely smell tons of the breakfast stout. Wow, that's nice. And then you get the bourbon complexity in there as well. Great. Oh, that's really fantastic. It almost mutes the coffee notes a bit, and it just gives it a deeper, rich sweetness. Really nice. Wow, great. Let's get that. Whoa. Whoa, that's so nice. Wow, that's fantastic. So again, mixing these twos will put it, it's still a big beer. We'll put it around from 8.3 to 14.9 on this batch. That's, bear with me on the math. It's around 11% beer. So you have 11%, 50% barrel aged beer right here. In the front, and get that coffee bitterness. It melds in with the vanilla notes from the bourbon County. You're getting that rich, sweet chocolate. This beer doesn't really have that cocoa richness that that this one has. It almost like that sticky chocolate note, and the mouthfeel's still really big. It's not as luscious as obviously, but I think that's actually okay because this beer is super thick and almost like drinking a maple syrup almost sometimes. It just attacks the palate, it sticks there, and you get clean off some of that lusciousness, and you get this semi-balanced beer where you're getting nice coffee notes, you're getting a lighter body, but still huge, thick, full body. Mouth feels wonderful. Wow. It almost reminds me of KBS. That's really interesting. So really, it's interesting that because KBS is not made with the same base beer as Breakfast Stout, but I assume they use a similar recipe of some sorts. And this really reminds me of KBS. Very interesting. KBS again is a similar ABV. I think it's around 12 something. Coffee in the front. The bourbon attacks. The bitterness is balanced very well. This is quite bitter beer, by the way, from the coffee. balanced off with that milky chocolatey sweetness, that vanilla, that tinges of coconut linger in the finish. You also still get that bitterness that attacks more aggressively than this beer because it's such a sweet beer. There's not much bitterness behind it. This is such a good idea. Wow. All right, I'm gonna sit here and enjoy this. I definitely recommend doing this. This is one of the best mixes I've ever done. I haven't done that many, but again, my hypothesis turned out out quite well. I think actually you might want a tinge bit more Bourbon County. Maybe I didn't pour exactly 50-50, so maybe you want 60-40 or something, or maybe 65-35 or something on the Bourbon County, because again, you still want that barrel forward note. You don't want too much, because this is a bit of a coffee bomb. Wow, it's almost like, it's not exactly Bourbon County coffee, but it almost has a KBS kind of thing going on. Really interesting. So yeah, definitely try this out. Another one I recommend, by the way, if you can still find it, is Pumpkin. And this Pumpkin's a super sweet, you know, caramel rich kind of beer with tons of spices, and the bitterness of this and the roasted malt actually meld really together. I really love when fall comes to the pumpkin stouts. I actually like those more than some of the other pumpkin beers around, and it sort of makes a faux pumpkin stout. So definitely recommend mixing this and pumpkin. You can still find those two. That's a great combination, but this was an amazing combination. It's a bootleg KBS, I would say. You can call it Bourbon County Breakfast Stout, whatever you want to call it. This is fantastic. Later, guys.